a scion of many worlds. There's a bit of confusion, as clearly no one was expecting him to simply bring Zavia here, which has everyone nicely off balance, and therefore easily guided around to seeing things his way. Now, Zavia, I had your uncle bring you here for a reason. You see, you have a lot of supporters still, and they're concerned about you, how you're being treated, and more. So, are you feeling up to showing them around the Aridus Valley so they can see, by your perspective, how you're being treated? I still can't run, can I? I'm not letting up control of Miru, and if you take up arms against me, I will break the weapons and ground you for misbehaving, Emmanuel states as he steps away from Horus. Same general level of freedom I had, hun? Horus asks him. Well, you didn't end up for all, so there's something to recommend to free-range parenting, Emmanuel returns. Basically, I exercise my parental control in that she has to attend her lessons and finish her daily studies. But aside from that, she only has to attend her meals, bathe once a day, and return to her bed each night to rest. That is generally all the control I exercise over little Zavia. You've kept me from activating the portals that leave the Aridus Valley, Zavia accuses. Yes, I don't want you to get lost. You're free to use the roads as much as you like, Emmanuel says, and Zavia's sulky look grows. I have been suggesting lessons on force field creation and laser emission to augment your light manipulation abilities. A few lessons on either end, you'll be able to move much faster. I know all about light. I can solidify it, thank you very much. But do you know the proper shapes for aerodynamic travel, or how to create a self-maintaining construct? Emmanuel asks, and Horus shakes his head. Brother, you are the only man I know that takes a look at his enemies and decide they need better weapons, Horus remarks. Well, it's not like I'm vulnerable to harm anyways. Emmanuel dismisses it. Okay, that's it. Hey kiddo, I'm dragging Mr. Immortal here to a sparring ring and going to knock him around like a ping-pong ball. Want to watch? Horus says, as he hooks his arm around Emmanuel's neck and starts to drag him off towards the portal. What's a ping-pong ball? Zavia asks. Watch and find out, Horus replies as Emmanuel simply crosses his arms and chuckles. You really think this is going to be any different than last time? You've been busy as an administrator and trying to put out political brush fires and other nerdy stuff. I've been training, Horus states, and Emmanuel teleports to get out of his grip, but as he emerges 3 meters to the right, Horus is right there with him, now standing to his side with a hand on his shoulder. Besides, there's always time for brotherly bonding. All right, brother, you're on, Emmanuel states. Who wants to see Titans clash? Shocked silence is the answer. Tough crowd, Horus remarks before pulling Emmanuel with him. Come on, they'll catch on. Wait, are you not concerned that we will escape with Lady Zavia? One of the loyalist nobles asks. Are you going to hurt her? Emmanuel asks. How dare you imply that we would bring harm to our queen? Then why should I be concerned? You're loyal to her, you're on her side. Of course she's safe with you. Are we no threat to you? Are we so beneath your concern that you don't even consider we may accomplish our goals? A noblewoman asks, and Emmanuel sighs before stepping away from Horus and walking up. He then kneels down to their level and looks right at them. And what are those goals? In what way do they clash or conflict with my own? Do you even know what mine are? He asks plainly and clearly. What are your goals? What do you want with Us? I want even the lowliest of you to live hundreds of years in perpetual youth and plenty. I want the greatest risk to one's food situation to be overabundance rather than deprivation. I want you all fed, informed, and strong. I want other worlds to look upon lron with jealousy for the sheer plenty it has. I want you strong and wise. I want a golden age, surpassing even what was lost when your ancestors were stranded upon this world long ago. I want the gods themselves to be jealous of what we have. Now tell me, how is that a problem? Because people that pine for such desires fall to their foolish whims. They reach ever upwards and forget where their feet are planted. They reach for stars beyond their grasp, and when they fall, they land upon the world to crush all those beneath them. Look at what happened to Greenstone. They thought themselves so clever breaking away, but they failed to have any system capable of defending themselves from Brightshore pirates, rampant banditry, or infiltration. They sought paradise and created only pain. One of the noblewomen shouts in his face before panting and huffing at him. Well, do you have anything to say to that? I'm impressed, he says, and that was clearly not what she was expecting. That was a reasoned argument with historical basis. Were you under my direct command in the military, you'd be facing promotion. What? She demands incredulously. Keep questioning things, Lady Dawnbreak. You'll go places doing that, he says with a smile. Not that it can be seen. There is a downside to being so floofy. As to how I'm going to do this differently, I'm not simply relying on dreams and fervent wishes. I'm relying on a literal army of skilled individuals, vast resources, immensely powerful technology, and a knowledge base so robust it would take centuries to gain even a passing familiarity with all the topics involved. We have backup plans if our first plans fail, and backup plans in case those fail, and further plans in case those fail, and further plans still. We will have to fail in hundreds of different unique ways to truly and fully fail lron and its peoples. But we need only succeed once to drastically improve your lives. Oh yes? Yes, and we have already succeeded several times. Or have you not seen the old and sickly return to youth and strength? Have you not heard of the new techniques the grand midwives have been using? Or the fact that these, Emmanuel explains, bringing out his communicator, are becoming more and more common, allowing people to hold entire libraries within their belt pouches and speak to one another regardless of distance. When enough people have them, there will be a tipping point of contact and togetherness. And I'm only just getting started. He then stows the communicator away and tilts his head towards her. No then, what is it that you want to do? Best case scenario, imagine if every argument and battle broke unquestionably in your favor for a great rout. What does it look like when you win? What? I'm asking what you want. Please tell me I'm not some impossible monster from beyond. I'm a soldier in an army that has laid claim and therefore responsibility over this world. My duty is to defend it above all else. So what does it look like when you get what you want? You are of lron, of Miru, to be more specific. What does it look like when you get exactly what you want? My victory is Lady Zavia back on the throne of Miru. That's fairly clear. What else? He asks. Greenstone restored to the greater whole of Miru. They've proven themselves too short-sighted and self-destructive to trust with their own leadership. They have made an attempt and nearly lost themselves to savagery. What else? Emmanuel asks. I would have the Goldlands subservient to our crown, and bright dawn broken beneath our She pauses with how close Emmanuel is. His frown can be seen slightly through the fur on his face. I appear to have misjudged you. I apologize, he says in a disappointed tone as he stands upright. Come along now, Wait! What did she do that was so wrong? You just asked questions and she answered them. What did Lady Dawnbreak do to make you react like that? Zavia asks. She just admitted that she'd be doing the very thing she's angry at me for doing. Everyone's some kind of hypocrite, but it's not something to be proud of. Emmanuel says, her best case scenario for getting what she wants is the reunification and expansion of the Miru Empire, possibly until it rivals or surpasses the Serpent Empire at its peak. Nothing about actually making the lives of the people better. Nothing about improving the empire beyond bloating it in size. Just conquest. I admit, I have conquered, and I may have gone about it in a better way, but I have made efforts, many efforts, to improve the lives of the people within. So you're angry because she can't do something that a person being worshipped as a god can't do? Xavier defends Dawnbreak angrily. No, I'm disappointed that she wouldn't even try. The greatest failure of all, he says. Now then. Whatever he was about to say next, he's interrupted by a chime from his communicator. He answers it immediately. It's a text message that leaves him giving out an unhappy-sounding trill. Well, crap, Horace notes, as he got one as well. Could be worse. Those girls at least have good family values. The Gravid Faith sending a relief fleet isn't the issue. The issue is that if something so mainstream knows exactly where we are, then the seedier elements are no doubt on the way as well. It's only a matter of time before the stranger secrets of Lachran get spilled to the galaxy, and that's when things go badly. It was a matter of time, no matter what, little brother. It just means we need to work faster, Horace says before giving him a wave. Let's put a pin on that sparring match. I'll be doing a double check on our anti-space munitions and defenses. We may need them sooner rather than later. Then, the larger man is gone in a burst of axiom. I need to speak to the councils of both the Starseekers and the Grand Midwives. Xavier, consider the rest of your day off, do what you like, but be home in time for dinner. It's a family meal tonight, Emmanuel states, before he reaches over to ruffle Xavier's hair. He then pulls off the cloak and crown, pockets them both, and vanishes in a burst of axiom. Just gone and leaving the small army incredibly paranoid about what any of that overheard conversation can possibly mean. I fail to see how this is a bad thing. It's not, but it's something to be aware of. The Gravid Faith has numerous different denominations and sects. You'll get along well with most, if not all of them, but they have some very polarizing views in their more extreme variants. Extreme how? The Grand Midwife asks him, and he sighs. Could you imagine having a child every 5 years without fail? For 500 years? Because some sects are like that, Emmanuel explains before huffing. I ran into one like that once. She chided me for wasting my time studying and learning when I could be using that time to be a father. I was 16 years old at the time and had just placed ahead in advanced education. 16 is plenty old for some to start families. Yes, it is here on Lachran. But where and when I was at the time, it was not. It was considered odd to start a family before 50 years of age. So, a third 16 is partway between 5 and 6. Yes. So imagine chiding a 6-year-old girl for not wanting to be a parent, Emmanuel states, and the Grand Midwife pauses for a moment as the absurd image goes through her head. Not all of them are like that. In truth, the most popular Gravid sects are so inoffensive that they make excellent neighbors. However, there's always the chance of the crazies, and they're not even the real issue. The issue is that they're moving openly. No secrecy, announcing to the galaxy where they're going and why. It's a big show. Meaning the more scummy parts of a society see it too and see opportunity? Exactly, Emmanuel states. We have some weeks to prepare, so first, we need a plan, a place to receive and a way to identify and counter the negative parts of the galaxy. He rubs the fur on his chin a few times before sighing. Worst comes to worst, I'll start pulling nonsense with the cults forming around me. I don't want to, but a living god can be quite the distraction to criminal scumbags. Will you be bringing in the Serpent Empress as well? I'll have to speak with her. Hopefully it will be unnecessary, but I refuse to have the people of Lachran trampled underfoot by either well-meaning fools or greedy bastards.